So I want to talk to you about thoughts and tell you something I think you haven't thought. And that thought is that all thoughts compete for your attention and they compete for your validation. I say all thoughts, but obviously sometimes we have like arguments going on in our heads. However, in general, thoughts compete for validation because they want to be right. Look at it like all these thoughts are sort of floating by in the ether and you are kind of like, witnessing them. Wherever you are vibrationally, as in the state that you're in, right? Your dominant thought, maybe you're lonely, maybe you're hangry, maybe you're absolutely hating someone right now, believing that they have done these things to you and they should be punished. So basically from that space, all the thoughts that are going to line up are going to match one another. It's unlikely, unless you've really cultivated a connection to your soul voice, that you're going to have another dominant thought that says, oh, that person is wonderful. So yes, if you hadn't guessed already, the type of thought I'm talking about is the type of thought that happens when you're triggered. So these kind of thoughts, unfortunately, usually start to spiral and have us in a kind of stinky, funky mood. So these kind of thoughts are naturally trying to be validated. They're trying to find reasoning. They want to be right, in order for you to understand what's going on in the situation and who you are and how to protect yourself and all of that jazz. But at the end of the day, they're naturally going to fall into alignment with the next thought that matches the previous thought. Let me give you an example. Let's say you've woken up in a really bad mood because you remember that yesterday somebody at work said something about you that wasn't so becoming. You get up out of your bed and as your feet touch the floor, you know that today is going to be a bad day. You get up, you open your curtains, you decide that you're going to make yourself some coffee or you're going to have a slice of toast. And you sit there and you start to ruminate. Now, ruminating is when we're triggered and then now we're sitting thinking the thought that we aren't lovable or we're not liked or whatever it is, and then we sit and the rumination is literally the sequence of thoughts that you're thinking from that energetic point. Now, you might be listening to this and saying, that is absolutely me. Like, I absolutely resonate with ruminating. I sit and I think and I think and I think about all the things that I don't like and I don't want in my life. Well, I'm going to give you a wee technique that might help you to stop the ruminating, at least for enough time to give you a chance to think about something better. So this technique is called the pain ball, kind of like a stress ball, but you're not going to squeeze it. Basically what you do is you take something like a tennis ball, right? And you look at the tennis ball and you think about all the things that you are thinking. I know you're saying, how is this going to help? But bear with me. Think about the things you're thinking, all the negative stuff. Yes, you're allowed. And then after you've ruminated on this thought that you're having and you're kind of putting all of the energy into the ball, you allow yourself to do that for like 15 minutes max if you can. I mean, if you're having a bad day, you could do it for longer, but that's what I'm going to suggest. So you basically sit with the ball, you look at it, you ruminate over everything. Some of you will be distracted by the fact that you're looking at the ball, which actually probably helps inadvertently anyway. But you look at that ball, you give it everything you've got. You give it all of the bad stuff, the negative stuff. And then you take that ball after 15 minutes and you go and put it on a shelf, right? Somewhere where you can't see it. It's allowed to be in the space. We're not saying no to it. We're not saying that negativity can't be there, because really, I personally believe that's a fruitless task. You can try and hide it away in a box, but it's going to come popping back out like Pandora's box. So you put it on a shelf, you allow it to be in the room, you no longer keep looking at it and ruminating over the thing that you just put energy into it. Then you go about your day as if everything is wonderful and amazing. And yes, you still might not feel like that at the beginning. That's okay. We're all practicing. But essentially, that's what you do. This is what we call a pattern interrupt. So you're literally interrupting the pattern so that you can find the space to think another thought. Because when you're ruminating and you're caught in that destructive cycle, it's really very hard to think another thought, because you're naturally going to want to think a thought that is similar. That's just how it is. Now, another thing I would recommend doing is actually some movement, like getting into your body rather than staying up in your head, because most often when we're triggered and we're ruminating and we're in that energy, we've gone away up into our heads and we're no longer actually connected to our body. Plus, you get to feel really good, right? I love a dance around and I haven't been doing enough of it at all. So it's a good reminder also for me. Go run, you might want to go walk in nature, you might want to, go swimming or roller skating, whatever it is you choose. Get your inner child on board, go and have fun, meet up with a friend, but don't ruminate on the rumination. Tell them you're not talking about that stuff, because that will just invite more of that energy into your world. Yes, ladies, we know you love to chat about the stuff that's bothering you and it helps us to offload it, but really after a certain point, it's only going to help to bring more of it. So the pattern interrupt stops you wandering down the trail of thoughts that you usually wander down. And from there, you can take a scenic view in the expansive space of your mind and find something else that you really want to focus on. I'm not saying it's easy. It is absolutely a practice. So remember, as an overview, your thoughts, especially when you're triggered, want to follow a similar pattern, a similar trail. They want you to go down the path of least resistance, and in that situation, the path of least resistance, unfortunately, is actually for your thoughts to all join in and collaborate with your rumination. So what we want to do is create a pattern interrupt, like the paintball experiment. You literally look into the ball, you put all of that heavy energy in there, you allow yourself to be sad, you allow yourself to cry, you allow yourself to be angry and say all the words that you wished you'd said to Sheila at work. You allow yourself to do all of that, and then you go about your day, you get on with something else, you move your body, and voila, hopefully you're in a much better state. If you like this video and you like this kind of content, then remember to like and follow for more.